Eve, everybody.
Oh,
Don't know what I say.
God.
I'm gonna do a beat.
Make it
Why,
stop.
Rain?
Wait,
It's
why?
time to
Why?
stop.
Why did you?
Rock, paper, scissors, right? We don't want Eve to be as simple
look
as
at
shut the
this.
fuck up, Seto.
Make it
Why,
stop.
Rain?
Memes
It's
of
time
small
to
gamers.
stop.
Why did
We're
you?
the elite of the elite. Do not fuck with us. We will kill you. We are the best players ever. It's like, dude, I did your shit. I did it better than you did.
You know what this conversation is like? When I say not enough supers die in Delve, and people tell me, oh, look, there's a super died in Delve. So it's like, when I'm
What are
talking
you
about
even
the balance
talking
issue,
about? We were talking about fucking balance, not supers
Yeah.
dying in Delph.
Look,
Why
look,
does
look, look,
everything with you have to be about supers fucking dying in
shut
Delph?
up, shut up.
Christ!
It's an analogy, moron. It's an analogy. Okay?
You guys stop arguing. You act like a fucking married couple. Jesus
No,
Christ.
don't stop arguing.
It's an
Well, it
analogy.
is Trash Talk
I
Tuesday.
was like,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another super exciting episode of Trash Talk Tuesday. That's right, you are tuned in to the only channel that presents to you the third best talk show broadcasting at 0200 Eve on Tuesdays. It's Trash Talk Tuesday. My name is Redline13. I am one of the hosts of this show, and I am joined by several lovely guests. We're actually hanging out in the wrong channel, so you can't see our names pop up on the screen. Let me fix that real quick. So now you can see my name pop up on the screen, which I think is pretty cool. And everybody else will pop up on the screen when they start talking. So we're joined by Dawn. Go ahead and say hello, Dawn. Oh, you're super quiet now. And we've also got Dominarch.
hello, hello.
We've got Jeremy.
The Iron Hamster on the Dare.
Jeremy, the Iron Hamster. And Loki.
Yo.
And
I'm good.
the only person on the show that matters, Rain.
Oh, I love you too, Twitch chat.
Rain literally got partner this past week, by the way. So
Congratulations.
drop some purple hearts in the chat for the best Eve streamer in the world, Rain Chocolate. You can follow her on her Twitch, and she will drop that in the chat momentarily. And again, my name is Redline13. Dunk Dinkle has a controversial topic to bring up. Dunk, why don't you come in and bring up that topic so that we can start the show off right? I'm down for it. Here he is, Mr. America. Dunk, what is your controversial topic today?
Well, I can't stay long, and I'm sure you won't want me around after I say this, but I just got to spread the truth here about something that's going on.
All right. Speak your truth, Dunk.
Now I get this might be controversial, but I'm just going to say it anyways. Nashville hot chicken is just spicy hot chicken. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing to get worked up over. It's just hot for the sake of being hot, and I don't need to eat it again ever in my life.
Dunk, I'm glad you're brave enough to say that because I agree with you 1,000%.
I don't
Wow.
do spicy, so.
No, hold up. Nashville chicken is delicious.
No,
Because it's not just hot chicken,
No.
it's also juicy. Like,
no.
That's
not
the
juicy,
quality of
it's
any good
saucy.
chicken.
It's
Yeah, all
saucy.
Is it
chicken
normal
is
chicken
juicy.
juicy?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
but like, it's saucy in the sense that only Nashville hot chicken can be saucy, right?
Incorrect.
So like, you get a saucy chicken wing, and it's saucy, right? But there's a lot of sauce on it, okay? You get a regular hot chicken strip or something, there's no sauce. It's hot, but it's from powder and seasonings. But you get a Nashville hot
This
tender.
Nashville chicken, you got people lining up outside restaurants. They're Instagramming it. They're doing whatever you do, the young people do on the interwebs about this hot chicken. It's just hot chicken. It's not a revolution. It's not anything special. And the this fake news about it has got to end.
I'm at a loss for words. I respect
I
your
warned
bravery
you
for
it was
sure.
going to be. I told you it was going to be controversial.
I mean, and now I have to do a Twitch poll just to see how controversial it actually is. So, guys, at the top of your chat screen, you're gonna see a poll here that we're gonna run for a few minutes. That's gonna be whether you think that Nashville hot chicken is just hot chicken or if it's special. And I hope you guys pull through for me.
So, as somebody who like thinks mayonnaise is spicy, when you guys say hot chicken, is this like buffalo chicken hot or is it hotter?
No, stupid ass hot. Yeah.
Ooh,
We need to
Which
get
hotter?
like PGL's opinion of this as well. I feel like he's a good person to ask about hot chicken.
oh my god, the no votes are coming through hard. Guys, I need some yes votes here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to eat more gummy bears. Yes, a yes vote. Thank God.
So let me describe for non-USANs what Nashville hot chicken is. So Nashville hot chicken is a kind of fried chicken in which the batter typically is like a battered fried chicken, but they put an awful lot of hot, spicy seasoning in it. So it's extremely hot, a lot of cayenne pepper that makes your mouth burn. Now, from my opinion, what it lacks is a diversity of different spicy flavors that might make it interesting in some way. And so some people adore this. They wait in line for hours for special restaurants. They get pictures and selfies with them holding hot chicken, and they make it into some sort of religion. And I just believe we cannot worship a false idol. That's just wrong.
Well, we absolutely can worship false idol. The people in Goonswarm do it all the time. But
I'm doing it right now, actually.
Dom's doing it right now. So while that poll is rolling, which is a disgusting amount of no votes, by the way, tonight's topics are kind of spicy. I'm sure we'll get some more beautiful people to join us, and maybe Dunk can stick around as we talk about the great escape from the M2-XFE Heckcamp, which has been downgraded from a Hellcamp because y'all are trash. We're also going to talk about how the M2 Ihub got snapped, resetting any progress for a Sinojammer, and kind of see where we go from there. And hopefully we can get some guys from Frad or Freeman online to talk about some of the stuff that they're doing up there. Maybe even Seto will come back and join the show that he hosts so that we can talk about some stuff that they're doing. You know, you never know on Trash Talk Tuesday. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So,
Redline, before we start, you say I have a message from one of your courtmates who has paid me a handsome sum of money to say this on air.
I don't think that you want to say this on air. I don't think that you want to say it.
It's a lot of money. Red.
How much money?
All right, I'm
The
gonna.
bill.
All right,
Thanks,
I'm gonna
Dunk.
check out here. I have to go do space work things. I appreciate you letting me come and say my truth. Brave had its 8th birthday. If you haven't seen my video, see me painfully doing 8 shots.
I was gonna say that was a lot of whiskey.
Yeah,
Congratulations, guys.
we then blew up one of my Minikawas to Atrons, and then I went to sleep. So have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Hey, you two, Dunk, take care. Enjoy your Nashville hot chicken that is special, no matter what you say.
A rating party.
Yes, indeed, a rating party. All right, Jeremy, go ahead. Let it out.
Have you seen what it is? Is it
Oh yeah,
approvable?
I got you. Go ahead, go for it.
Okay, from Sid in Original Sinners. Red.
First off, let me tell you about Sid from Original Sinners. This man just joined the Corp, and I've been in this Corp for almost 2 fucking years, and he wants to 1v1 me to earn his honor back? Let me tell you what, Sid, you need to get your own honor and keep your own honor. I don't have much left to give you. Alright? So pick another person to 1v1, you baby back bitch. Or don't. I don't care.
He's picking you because of the what's his face? God damn it, Rich Richmond fight.
The Rich Richmond fight? Dude,
Yeah,
Sid, I will
that's
1v1 you on stream right now. On dock.
From what I've been able to gather, new sinners coming into Original Sinners oftentimes have to face Redline for some weird fucking reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Is it like a tradition or something?
There's
British
only been one person to
The,
face me.
the guy who broke the hammer or whatever?
The guy who broke the hand. So that was an interesting story. That was where there was a very obvious spy that was trying to get into the corp, and he came in saying, "If I can break one of your hammers, you vouch me in." And we played with him a little bit. So it
Redline was said
pretty
hammer.
interesting. I was said hammer. He didn't 1v1 me. Bunny kicked him from Mumble before he could. But then Rex 1v1 me and won because I I let him. It was funny. Anyways, so now Sid wants to 1v1 me to earn his honor, which doesn't make any sense. So it is what it is. So let's talk about the topic at the top of the hour. Don, I want to ask you. Don, about the camp in M2 Tech. How do you feel about it being downgraded to a heck camp after weeks and weeks of herf and blurf resulted in nothing more than a fizzle and less than a dozen dead titans, more than half of them being goon titans, when the extraction just kind of kicked off without a hitch?
I am very happy that my strategy that I proposed like 2 to 3 weeks ago ended up actually being the best option. So I am the master strategist extraordinaire.
Excellent.
I
So,
told I
so
asked,
which
why didn't you
Pappy
just
alliance
drop
are you joining?
none? Never.
None. What do you
Well,
mean?
I think Diva's recruiting.
Is
I'm
Diva?
happy right where I'm at.
Diva is always recruiting. You
I'm
gotta have some exclusivity.
I'm perfectly fine, but it's really funny. I literally like 2 to 3 weeks prior asked, why didn't you just drop at 0 on the keep star and let's brawl it out? And that's what they did to get out. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
what
they
are you
didn't
gonna do?
Titan
You have
brawl.
435 dreadnoughts at 0. I was one of those titans at 0 with those dreadnoughts. Of course you're gonna shoot them because they can mow through things real fast if you don't deal with it. And that gave you guys a chance to kill off enough bubbles to get out. It was a good play.
It
I
worked. It was a
agree. It
good
was
play and it
completely
worked.
worth it.
Yep. Absolutely.
We also had a great time killing 435 dreads. Or
That
11,
was
sorry, 411.
411.
Yeah.
See, that's
The
the goon number
435 dropped,
spiking up.
411 died.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's fun. I'm glad you had fun doing that.
I had a blast. I got my first kill
So,
mark on my Titan on a Minakawa. It was
oh,
great.
nice. Congratulations. That's so fun.
No,
All
I
right.
don't give it. I don't care about the camp. Like it's there. We're gonna keep it up until it's not useful anymore.
So, like, as of last week.
I still believe there's still 130 Titans, and from sources that want to remain anonymous, Billy said, and I quote, "I got all the fucking Titans I care about."
Oh, what sources were those? Oh, you said they wish to remain anonymous.
Nominate?
Anonymous?
No, it's not nominate. But we're working on the audio because it didn't come in through very loud. But
Because it doesn't exist.
We do have actual audio from the night of when the Titans got out of Billy saying that.
The night when the Titans got out.
So
Billy,
last
the
week.
hero of the Pappy Coalition, said that he got all the Titans out that he cares.
That he fucking cared about. I
That
don't
he
give a fuck
fucking
about the
cared
rest.
about.
That's
I
what he
don't know
said.
that he would actually say that.
I don't recall that being said, and I was there in command channels. I don't.
Oh, it was not in
recall that.
command channels.
Oh, okay.
Maybe at the coalition level then, right?
No, this was in the green room
The green
of certain
room.
shows.
Oh, I see. I understand. So what you're telling me is that somebody said something while some show was off the air, and now you're going to put it out in public. Is that
Oh,
correct?
it was being recorded, so.
Okay, fair. Okay, cool.
It
I
was
like
when I
that.
can
That's a
get
good move. That's a good move, Don. It's not scummy at all. It's certainly upstanding
Yeah,
journalism. I think you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Keep up the content. Keep up the view count. That's what you
Hey,
got to
my
do
mom.
to make it
My mom's the
can't
one
wait.
with the degree in journalism, not me.
I can't wait for the Goonswarm Yellow Press to take one Billy quote completely out of context that he probably said just in passing as the joke, and then spinning it as this is what he means and trying to.
I
do
was actually
so.
leaning toward not believing that Billy would have said that, but now with Redline's reaction, oh, he said it.
Oh, I don't
I
know.
wanted-
I have no idea.
Didn't he say that on this show? I thought he made like some sarcastic comment at one point here.
Once I get the audio, I will be happy to play it.
Once you
Okay,
deep fake
cool.
Billy's voice.
The problem is the person who has the audio is kind of not always great with audio. So.
Oh my god. So
I'm just
Riker,
like, please. He's like, there's 3 hours. How am I supposed to find? Like, just send it to me and I'll find it. Okay.
So Riker is in the chat. He
hasn't done it yet.
was too embarrassed to do it live on stream, but Riker is the goon cheerleader for tonight. He felt that there was going to be some outnumbering issues, so he was going to hang out, but then he left because he didn't want to get kicked from his corp, which I understand.
I insulted him too. It wasn't nice. I was wrong.
Did you
I
even
feel,
insult him?
I feel bad, Riker. I'm sorry.
But let's look at this. So Riker says, "What's funny is Paspy took like a month to devise a strategy that was literally just dropping dreads at 0. Sorry, it doesn't take a genius, spelled incorrectly, by the way, to do that.
Ooh, what a
Or to
word to
think of
fuck
that."
up.
No, that's beautiful.
No, it's the
So-
perfect word to fuck up.
So I guess that's why you didn't want him on your team tonight, Dom. I understand. You never learned to spell, and that's okay. That's fine.
You didn't call him out for spelling literally incorrectly either.
Well, I wanted to make sure that I called out the word genius being misspelled.
Genius and the derivative of literacy, both spelling.
For sure.
Oh, he's
Um,
American. Okay.
So
Makes sense.
Jeremy, talk to me. How was your experience with the breakout?
Um,
Obviously we got hundreds of Titans out there, so out of there. So I mean, it worked out well. But what did you think? How were you feeling? What was
Well,
going through your head?
First off, I was pretty stoked. I actually had my carrier trapped in the M2 bubble camp, and I logged on, and I helped get some Titans out of bubbles, and then I jumped my carrier to T5, refueled, and then I jumped back into the carrier fleet to defang, and that was pretty fun. Then I was also in the subcap fleet, like helping get people there. I think we did pretty good. Like, I honestly don't think we could have gotten a better outcome, and I think most people would agree with me. I mean, we lost 411 dreads, right? But that's a lot
Is it-
easier to replace than, say, like, I don't know, 100 Titans we could have lost otherwise.
Is
Like-
that it's a weird situation where both sides were
Yeah.
happy with what they got.
We
You
it
guys
was a-
got more than half of your stuff out, and we got to munch on some dreads and faxes and whatever else we could get before y'all got out. So
I
But
think
who
that's
won?
good.
But who won the fight?
Uh,
fun one.
I think
Who?
there's room to be said that while Goonswarm may have won in terms of the ISK war, Pappy definitely took the objective, which was to bust people out of the Hell Camp. Like, they got a lot of people out. They really put the screws on Imperium again in terms of, super capital presence, super capital force. And even with the reduced capital numbers in the bubble camp, there's still pardon me, I burped. Like a few hundred people every day sitting in M2 not responding to fleets or to Entosis attempts or whatever because they have to stay there. Because the moment they leave, we get to break out again.
I thought it was fun.
Um,
I had a great time listening to comms while it was all happening.
And people saying it took a month to get out. The reason it took a month was because we just waited for everyone to go home. It's not like we were thinking around, like putting pencils in our earlobes, trying to figure out what to do. It was literally we just waited until you had 2,000 less people than T+1 after the gate camp came up.
So and what's also interesting is that right after, well, not right after, but just the other day, what, Sunday was it? The Ihub in M2 was actually I'm sorry, the Ihub in M2 is actually destroyed. So that Goon Ihub is no more, and there's currently a fight ongoing for it, which is
Over.
I don't think it's actually happening.
It
I
just
saw it.
ended. The IHUB's gone.
Okay, was there a fight at all, or was it just
There was a skirmish. We
Mike's
killed a
fleet?
carrier, but I
Okay,
don't
you
really
killed a
think there was an
carrier.
actual fight.
So the M2 iHub it's back in Pappy control. Now Dom, I want to ask you, and I'm gonna go around the room here, try to be as objective as possible to prevent me from talking so much. Dom, what impact do you think taking the M2 iHub back from the Imperium has on the Pappy strategy moving forward?
It's a huge morale boost for you guys. I mean, it's a fight. The M2 has been where all the action's been. To be able to control that, it's an important fucking morale identifier, or just strategically. I mean, it's not like it really gives you any advantage having it. Besides the jammer thing. I mean, I don't know. It's something we didn't want to lose, and you guys took it.
Right, yeah, and that's one thing that I noticed as well is that when it was, you know, after it was destroyed, there were some pings that went out from certain leadership types in goons that were literally saying, haha, we took this other iHub and the ass end of nowhere while they
Well, we
were
took
stuck in
W.
tie-dye. And you took what?
We
Detective fell into our hands that same day. So I mean, there was a trade-off.
Hasn't it been in your hands this whole time?
BTAC 7 was jammable, and you guys didn't jam it. And now
For
we took the
Keepstar
iHub
there?
back. Yes.
Oh,
BTAC 7?
It's
Is
in
that
Fake
in
Aquarius.
Delve? Oh,
It's
okay.
yeah, it's on that chain down through
what's
Aquarius.
Aquarius, not Delve?
It's Fake
It was-
Aquarius. It's basically Delve.
Okay.
Well, it's
Well,
Delve.
either way,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it might as well be enough. But so let me just make sure that I understand that I'm trying really very hard. The gummy bears are getting to me, but I'm trying really very hard to not put any spin on the questions that I'm asking. So in this world that you guys are living in, a system that had a Keepstar in it that was jammable is more important than the system that has 100 of our Titans trapped in it
Did they
and
get
We,
out?
we
countless other
didn't say that.
supers and everything.
I didn't say that. I don't think anybody's saying that. We
Okay.
wanted to keep that fucker, and we didn't.
Okay.
That's not gonna lie about it. There's no point in it. Of course, we wanted it. We wouldn't have committed to what we did if we didn't want to try to keep it. You guys had more numbers than we did. I mean, what do? We lost the fight. I lost my fucking claymore in that fight. It pissed me off.
Yeah, I didn't shoot your claymore when I saw
Fire.
it broadcasted. I didn't shoot it. Check your kill mail.
Okay.
And it wasn't because I didn't try. It was because I was too busy splitting my gun so I could whore on more ships.
I would
Or
Logi credit. I was kept alive a long time while being primaried. They did a good job. I mean, they
Yeah, well,
couldn't hold forever. Do a good job.
you were primaried at first, and then we stopped shooting you, and then primaried you again later, once more of your friends
You
were
got
dead.
tackled and webbed. So I fell way back from everybody. Then I went down.
Sorry about that, and I'm sorry that I made it sound like you guys thought that that was more important than the I have an M2. So I
I
guess
can't make that decision though.
well,
I'm just saying
sure.
from my point of view, I don't think anybody thought that. But it wasn't. There are many, many, many objectives, targets of opportunity objectives and plan objectives out there. M2 is one of them. BTAC 7, I'm sure, is one of them.
Of course. Yeah, well, it's on the list. If it's got a Keepstar in it, it's on the list. If it's a system in Delve or Aquarius, I think it's on the list at this point. So Rain, you do a lot of streaming of like what's happening in the game as far as like, you stream fights, you stream stuff that's happening, you get a lot of insight on like strategy and things like that. What
Yep.
do you think about the M2 IHUB being flipped back into Pappy control?
I mean, it's great, but I don't think a jammer would have done too much. I don't know. I'm pretty pessimistic about the jammer in general, right? Because most of these breakout attempts always rely on subcaps coming in, shooting bubbles, and jumping nerds out. Jammer doesn't stop people from jumping out, only jumping in. I also feel like, in the grand scheme of things, both sides can just sino to a system nearby and jump through the gate and like pre-stage stuff if they think something's gonna happen.
well,
Yeah, of
to be
course.
fair here, their strategy was to use the dreads as the meat shields, right? It's good strategy, but the only way to do that is if you can sign a win. Not having a jammer in there would have made it a little trickier to time it, but I don't
mean,
know if like that's what they're thinking of like let's get the jammer like prevent it from happening so they can do that again easily.
it could be, or they could have just escalated again. Like, there's nothing stopping Pappy from doing more
an-
breakout attempts like that. It's just like
another
UALX, shoot bubbles, jump out.
another big thing is the jump bridge. If you can get a jump bridge in there, and it makes it just that much easier to get reinforcements in during a breakout attempt, so you don't have to worry about like blue time or anything like that. You can just get people in.
So assuming that the Heckcamp continues for the next 33 days now, 34 or 33, yeah. Until that system reaches Salve 3 and Pappy is able to put a Sino Jammer in, do you think that the Hellcamp will end there?
Yes.
Or okay, so Jeremy, you think it will. What about you, Donnie?
Probably just because at that point then there's no way if someone's super or Titan or carrier. Like I think subcaps might stay, but it also depends on what you guys do in the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, right?
How
It would be irresponsible to leave capitals in a system where if they get warped off the Keepstar because of poor choices or something, where we couldn't get to them or respond or escalate at all.
Or Pappy hits us
do
somewhere else. We need our, we're not going to just not defend something at some point because they're sitting there. If there's nothing to guard, why would we stay there?
if idiots get fleet warped, why save them? Natural selection.
Because I care about all of my people, and you guys don't get
I'm
to have
actually on
kills.
board with what he said. If you fucking join a fleet, somebody sends you a fucking fleet invite and you join it and you're Titan, I'm sorry. You should
I mean,
lose your.
I've had to listen to that for 3 years, being with being home defense, but I
True,
still
yeah.
can't help it. I absolutely don't like watching my people die if I can help it, and it's infuriating when they do it. But I still care, and I want to take, even if it means like dropping a fleet to save them. I still want to save people.
I think you're amazing.
Yeah, it's a really nice gesture.
It really is.
I appreciate that.
I'll be honest. I'm an asshole. I wouldn't care because if you're that dumb,
I'm the balance because a lot of the people are cynical like that, where they're like, "Ah, you fucking did it to yourself," blah blah blah. Like, shut the fuck up and get out there and help him.
Nice.
So I'm the balance.
Gerg,
So like,
Gerg, you're probably talking about the Titan that got warped off of Keepstar 1DQ the other day. Is that?
I not specifically, but that was one of the ones that I had in mind.
shocker, happens
Yeah,
at
so
least a couple times a year.
imagine that happening in the year of our Lord 2021, where you can literally block fleet invite. Like,
Well,
what
this guy
fleet are
looks.
you joining via invites?
If you look at his kill board, he hadn't done anything since 2018. So
Maybe
I
he
That's
feel
thought
okay.
that
guy, or is it a different
maybe
guy?
he thought that Joey was still in Goons.
That'd be funny. That would be very funny if that was true.
Actually,
Actually
that I would
hilarious.
feel almost.
That's it.
I would say he could almost be vindicated if that was the case because somebody invites you. Okay, I could see that. If you get a random invite,
I call Joey to the table. So we do have some comments in chat. Seems like there's a lot more trash talk in chat today than there is on the actual show,
hey, if
which
they want to trash talk, that's fine.
I guess is cool because I don't really care one way or the other how much trash talk there is on here, but it is what it is. But I do have to mention what Goomba Freehand writes in chat. He says, "So I love how the script flips. When goons were taking Ihubs, Pappy was saying they are just Ihubs, no one cares. Yet they take one Ihub and the war is over. It just amazing how much of a hypocrite Pappy can be."
Weren't Goons
I
saying
agree.
that Ihubs didn't matter first?
Everybody does it.
Look, see,
I'm
we
getting really
all.
tired of this shit.
And I
Honestly,
mean,
it's the same fucking
Loki,
thing
talk to
every
me.
goddamn week.
Talk to me. How do you feel about it?
It's annoying as fuck, dude. Like, it's the same shit every goddamn week, except one side does better than the other, and so it reverses, and then it's the same shit the next week, but the other side's doing it, and just like, and everybody's like, what a bunch of hypocrites. They're assholes, and holy fuck.
It's
and I
like
don't think
Fozzie sucks a lot of dick, and no one likes this system.
I like Fozzie Sov
It
and
sucks.
better than previous Sov.
No, it's not.
I kind of disagree. Even if you were in a little alliance, I disagree.
Like,
There are a couple things that are okay with Fuzzy Sov, but not better than Dominion Sov by any means. Maybe Pos Sov.
it's just like
Pos Sov. That's what I mean. I don't mean Dominion. I mean Pos Sov.
That sounds like cancer a little bit. Like
there
lots
are
and
parts
lots
to
and lots of
Fozzie
shit.
Sov that are like just RNG. Like we were fighting over the JP4 hub for like 3 hours, and it was like up and down, and then all of a sudden all 5 nodes spawned in T5Z, and we're like, you know what, fuck it, we're going home. It's been
Vice
3
versa,
hours.
DTAC WI hub. All the nodes
Right
spawned in your
in 23G or something, right?
Yeah.
And also
So, like,
M2, like the first 4 nodes spawned right in M2 where everybody
And then-
on your team was. I was
and
like,
then
holy
like
shit.
8 nodes spawned in STAC 6 where I was like directing into hoses.
See, that's what happens when you have a small constellation, right? It's that there's only 6 places they can spawn, and there's so many nodes that spawn all at once. It's like, it's got to be clumped up somewhere. But that's the one thing that I hate about Fozzie in general is that it it's not supposed to lead to clumping up, but with the way that it actually works, it leads to these just big fights and like a choke point where nothing really happens, and then you
Yeah,
got
like what are we gonna do?
these people setting in 10% tie-dye just for hours while there's like jackdaws and bifrosts running around toasting nodes. They're the ones having the real fun. Ugh.
Well, like think about it. So the NOL chain, right? NOL down to DW or whatever or something, that chain, straight long pipe. If you get somebody sitting on a gate camping one side in such an insurmountable amount and all the nodes spawn on that side, like fuck me, I guess.
That's where the fight
Yep.
has to take place. So that's what contributes to that fight, right? So Loki, you spoke up, and I was gonna ask you how you felt about this whole thing because you're not even a part of it anymore. You're a
Yeah,
part of Dreadbomb, who is an honorable third party, pun intended, and you're simply just going out in space and doing shit. So, what's Dreadbomb doing lately? What's Banana Republic doing lately? And more importantly, are they recruiting?
what have Dreadbomb been doing lately? We've just been getting good fights. We've been getting good fights from Fire a little bit. We've been getting good fights from. Pretty sure that's actually it. Getting good fights. I did some a little bit of super hunting earlier today. That was kind of cool.
There are supers out there?
Did you catch
Mhm.
any?
We almost did, but I don't think so. No. I mean, they may have actually. As I'm on the show, I had to get off of Mumble, but possibly. If you're a super pilot out there, you're being hunted.
Ruh-roh. Loki's
Yeah.
just quiet. You can definitely hear him. He's just quiet.
One sec, I'll turn up my mic.
No, I'll turn you up manually. It's okay.
Anyway, outside of that, what is Banana Republic doing? Currently we are chilling, getting frags. We started a whole mining thing. That was a thing. It was pretty cool. And that's it. And yeah, we're definitely recruiting, but we are looking for more experienced pilots at this point because reasons, I guess.
Well, you want to do bigger and better things, right? So if you were to, so how do I phrase this? If you were to pick a side in this conflict, that you
Oh,
were
for fuck's
forced
sakes.
to, who would you pick based on Reddit posting ability? Who
Honestly, dude,
posts better?
I try not to pay attention to Reddit, man.
Okay, fair enough. Who do
That's
you think?
probably a good decision.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I'll post some little funny thing. Usually, it has something to do with the show and shitting on Redline at the same time, and I get like 70, maybe 70 upvotes. Actually, 70 is actually generous. Maybe like 40 upvotes, and that's what we get. So that's my experience on Reddit. Currently, I've been super engaged with this whole stock market thing, but we don't have to get into that. We
Do you
so
have
basically
diamond hands, sir?
we're yeah, it's fucking diamond hands, dude. So currently we don't have a side, my man. Like we just don't. And honestly, like I'm just so fucking tired of having to hear about it. I mean, I come on the show, right? I love the show. I like doing the show. It's just every goddamn week it's the same shit. You turn on the meta show and it's like herfing, burfing, blah 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 blah. They're a bunch of assholes, and then you turn on the other side and they're saying the same fucking thing over and over
Well,
and over. And it's fun for like 6 months, okay? Like don't get me wrong, it's fun for 6 fucking months. Outside of that, it's like holy shit, guys! Like find a new fucking show.
we had Grath on this week. It was a lot of fun. We just talked about whatever.
Oh yeah,
So,
somebody clipped me a piece of that they liked. That was apparently quality television.
What, the
so
dead
a
hooker part?
so a
Yeah.
question I'll have for you, Loki, because if I will agree that this show is sometimes primarily war talk, and I would love to have more people from more different sides of space come on, but they just don't. So I mean, if you
Oh,
have people that you want to invite on and bring them in, feel free. And guys, if you in the chat have people that want to come in and talk about stuff, like it doesn't have to be about the war, just come and talk to me first. Don't just come on the show and try to control the conversation, because I will hand you your hat and show you the door. But the thing is that right now the war is what's hot. It's popping. There's shit happening. But Loki, my question for you is, what do you think you'd be doing if this war wasn't happening? Do you think the same fights would be happening? And do you think you would still be faring as well as you are right now?
I mean, in regards to
Anything.
well, look, we would be picking different targets more than likely, right? You have most of everyone's super umbrellas move to delve, basically at this point. So that does free up a smaller or medium-sized PvP alliance to do things that we normally wouldn't get to engage, for example, because we would just get supers dropped on us. So, I can appreciate that. We'd be picking different targets, but the reality is there'd be a lot more targets to pick from, and that's the main issue. I think overall, even from like a ratting perspective, the amount of ratting kills have gone down dramatically. And yes, a lot of that has to do with the new dynamic bounty system and the fact that they're going to take away the passive drones and all that. But even still, like, I mean, people are just not as active in those parts of space. And so, I mean, if you're a PvP alliance, what are you going to do? Like, if you're a PvP alliance that is not going to get involved in a massive war, then what are you going to do? I mean, you're just going to have to, pick other targets that are available at the time. And that's basically what you see going on. Nobody's picking sides. We're doing things for content.
Well, and that's why I asked, like, if the war wasn't happening, like, legitimately, what would you be doing? Because you took Providence without too much of a fight. It was pretty easy, and that was during the war, if I recall correctly. Now you're fighting in Catch, where the residents there are deployed. You're fighting in Great Wildlands, where the residents nearby are also deployed. So my question is really, do you think that Dreadbomb would be able to stand up on its own if it wasn't propped up by the fact that most of the people that would be defending the spaces that you're attacking are off doing other things?
We're getting dangerously close to an area where I'm going to get in trouble for opening my mouth. But
Look, if you're gonna get in trouble for answering my questions, then by all means, don't answer them.
so what
But
I what I
but
what
I
I would say to
will
that is
say
so
this
Dreadbomb.
is that you complained that the show was always about the war, so now the show is about Dreadbomb, and you're the only person from Dreadbomb here, so you've got to open up to me, pal.
Redline's a funny guy. Um, I think that yeah, Dreadbomb would be fine, one way or the other. I don't think that like the fact that there's a war going on is the determining factor in success at all. Actually, I know like from my corp, for example, though, one way the war did play a factor is we did get some recruits in from maybe NC Dot or other PanFam groups that just didn't want to participate in like massive tie-dye fests and were more interested in smaller scale PvP. So, I can speak for myself, I can speak for my corp, and that is one way that we benefited. So we did grow a little bit there. And it was actually a good decision then to start a corp during the war because we are attracting people who are more into quality PvP in relatively non-tie-dye environment versus the which like you would expect anyway. Like the low sec attracts these kinds of people. We're not necessarily low sec only, but I mean we are technically a low sec entity, and you find a lot of these pilots in low sec. So we'd be fine, dude. One way or the other. I think maybe the target selection would probably have to be a little bit different. The politics games might have to be a little bit different. I don't know. That's not really my field of expertise, but Dreadbomb would still be an entity. We'd still be doing great, um, and we'd still be getting frags.
I have a question for you, Loki.
What's up?
Um, in your opinion, since you are out there in the great PvP wildlands, what area in New Eden would you think would be a good breeding ground for the small alliances or medium-sized alliances? Is Catch becoming kind of like that new like PvP zone instead of just a half PvP crab zone?
No, I think that any new alliance needs a lot of support in this game right now, and that's because of the general empire building mechanics that has gone into the game. Which I mean, you can argue has always been a thing, right? This has always been an N+1 game, but I feel like smaller entities were able to grow easier before and survive. Nowadays, you basically, if you want to make Iskies, you gotta be an Oracle on a moon or some shit. And if you're gonna do
Sorry.
that stuff, you're gonna need to no, but I mean like legitimately, like to bring in a income for an alliance. You're gonna need a super cap umbrella. You're gonna or a shitload of dreads, or like some massive determining factor, so that like that you can field those things when you're being attacked. So a lot of small alliances don't really make it, and you can see this from fucking FE. I can't remember their actual name, but anyway, FE and fucking like
It's a
Trigger Happy kind of
vampire.
yeah. Okay, there we go. Trigger Happy kind of ate it as well. I mean, for you can argue different reasons, but at the end of the day, if things are going super well and you're getting the content that you want, you're probably not going to disband regardless of what happens with. I mean, your leadership, unless some crazy shit happens. You know what I mean? So I'd argue that all alliances need to grow and thrive if they're starting off are some degree of support. Um, that being said, I think that RC is an excellent place for that to happen, because there is a degree of autonomy that goes along with being in RC, and there's a degree of support that goes along with being in RC. And I think that that's a really cool sort of way to approach the game right now. And I think that I've certainly benefited from it. So I would argue that that's probably, if you're wanting to start a new alliance, I don't know, with like 10 guys or something. Uh, I guess hit up Rocket X. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, I like that wasn't quite the answer I was looking for, but it's that's fine.
Like
Um,
that's my opinion, and it's biased, right? But the thing is like you don't start an alliance in this game from scratch, like almost ever, right? What always happens is a group of ambitious people in an alliance usually cause some form of dissension, or
Drama or whatever, yeah.
right, or the CEO causes it himself through his actions, and then they splinter off and they form their own thing. But they take like shitloads of guys, like 75% of the alliance with them, right? So you know then they go and form their own thing, and then they die. Whatever. Like you need good leadership to start an alliance, first of all. And who's to say that those backstabbing dudes in that alliance previously were any good? But if all things being equal, though, I would say that if you're going to start an alliance, a relatively small alliance, and allow it to grow, then you're definitely going to need support in this game right now, as it
Yeah,
Well,
stands.
yeah,
good.
I agree with you that RC is doing a really good job. Like when I left Waffles a few months ago, I was one of the things that I was disappointed about was that I would have fewer opportunities to fly with RC.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of content when it comes, kind of thing. So you're not tying yourself down a lot of times. I mean, the alliances can do what they want. Obviously, the alliances do what they want. They run their own fleets and whatever. But the coalition stuff comes at almost no obligation, for a lot of it, until shit hits the fan, right? And I've enjoyed it. It's a lot of extra content. I can't say enough good things about RC. Actually, I really do enjoy being in RC.
And then what areas would you see as a nice hotbed for action? Like obviously like catches like got a lot of players kind of vying around for position in there. Some are working together, some are just like it seems like just taking advantage of the situation to hit each other if they need to. Is Vina like Declan and them still like hot and heavy, or is that settled out a bit? I'm not always up to date on that.
Declan. Yeah, no. I mean, I don't.
Tribute or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, where's all that shit going on with Frat right now? Is that technically Tribute and Vale, or is that mostly Vale? I haven't really been following it super duper closely. But that certainly seems like where Road is right now, Road Capel and Tissue and all that other stuff. That seems like a great spot right now. And then also, yeah, I mean Catch, yes, because so many people are just taking advantage of what the goons basically are doing, right?
What are the goons basically doing? Oh, Luke's
Well,
here.
all right, so the goons were the Bastion moved into Esoteria, I believe. I took a wormhole actually at this like almost the same time as this was going on, like right when it started, and I was like, "What the fuck is the Bastion doing in Esoteria?" I was looking for stuff to go hunt
Yeah,
or whatever.
kicking ass.
Really random. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, Dom's in local, cool. So yeah, so that happened, and then in it came in for what, like all of 2 weeks, did some stuff, and then they said that they were going to move to Curse, and you know this, dude. You're just asking silly questions. And now
It's
they're
called reading the
they're
audience.
taking advantage of, right, they're taking advantage of the fact that like supers are moved, that Brave happened to be in like GE Tech, for example, and you know take fights, which is great.
And Curse is
And
an NPC region that you can't get kicked out of like you can in other large nullsec areas,
For
and
sure.
it's so close to their home GE to in its home. Oh shit! It's like 3 gates, 4 gates.
It is kind of like from a nostalgia standpoint, and this is like you can take this as you want, because there are no paths to moons anymore. But I mean, from a nostalgia standpoint, having like really serious nullsec groups or groups with like PvP alliances with teeth in NPC nullsec is pretty cool. Just solely for the I don't know, the nostalgia aspect of it.
Yeah, so it seems pretty cool. And speaking of nullsec alliances with teeth, we've got Luke here. Luke is a part of Fraternity, which is arguably the most toothed alliance in the North right now. How's Frat doing up north? Heard you guys are having some fun.
It's great. It's no tie-dye. It's just frags when we don't need to be in Delve. I was gonna say, Loki, I saw you turn up in Geminate the other day, so I think you're having some fun around there with some of the winter co-alliances as well. No, it's good. It's a little break. Obviously we're still doing stuff in Delve. We were there for the M2 Ihub timer. We had a hack fleet out there, but yeah, that was good. It's going well.
So
Yeah, we were there. We were
what's-
there for some fun for a little bit. Yep.
So I mean, what actually is happening though? So you'll have to forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn here, but the one thing that I saw is that the English-speaking part of Fraternity is leaving the Southern Theater and moving up north. Is that
No,
correct?
not true. The Ian side moved some caps up north to support what's going there, but everyone still remains deployed down there. Everyone still has jump clones with all their sub fleets down there. It was merely a move of some caps that needed to go up to the northern theatre into Vale.
Okay, so that was entirely fake news then.
It's not entirely fake news. I mean, the caps did move north, and I think even on the meta show, it was even pointed out that it was just the caps. But no, all subs remain in Delve and will continue to be active in Delve as we're needed.
Oh, cool, fantastic. So we've got that covered. So I mean, So talk to me about this war that's actually happening up there. Like what's actually going on recently? I've been seeing the war updates coming through on Reddit. We've actually got permission to post those onto the New Eden Post website as well. So I'm engaging in finding out what's happening around there. But I'd love to get it from a frat source. So what's the deal? What's the goings?
So, I mean, the start of this is kind of funny, right? Because a lot of the narrative is old frat coming down and kicking toilet paper and quote and friends around. Now, this probably started about 4 or 5 months ago when Trigger Happy and Quote and Toilet Paper all deployed into Venal and proceeded to spend the next 2 or 3 months whaling Frat Supers, Frat Rorquals, various other Winter Co-Alliance Rorquals and Supers while we were deployed. So we kicked them out of Venal. Pam Pam came and helped with that, and then went to go and kick them in their own front garden like they'd been doing to us for the last 4 months. If you're going to go and throw down and go and camp someone else's space, don't get upset when they kind of come back and kick you as well.
And so that's what's happening now is that you guys have been kicked around for a little while like fully deployed, and now you're coming back to do your own kicking, and you've got steel-toed boots. Is that a fair assessment?
That's definitely part of it. There is an element where the changes to nullsec that CCP have kind of thrown around makes deep null, like the back end of drones, a lot less profitable. So obviously we already hold most of Vale. So we've obviously decided to move down there as a mechanism to make more income. Obviously access to things like low sec minerals, the markets, the commodity market side of things is another avenue to make ISK now that CCP have nerfed a lot of the kind of deep nullsec regions. So there is a strategic element to being in that area as well.
Of course. Now, do you think that Fraternity needs all that space to perform their daily actions?
I mean, that's an interesting question. I mean, let's be clear. Frat holds less Ihubs than Test does, and nearly has quite the same number of members. I think about 1,000 out. So it's not, despite the narrative spin on Reddit, it's not kind of like the biggest entity gobbling up all this space, right? There are other nullsec alliances with similar numbers that have similar amounts of space. Now, obviously, people have seen the MER, right? The Chinese part of the fraternity community is very, very active in crabbing and rock mining and so on and so forth. A lot of that's spurned by the fact that obviously the Chinese community is a lot younger on TQ, right? So with skill injectors and all the rest of it, there's a very big drive in that community to have done that run to catch up. You know, Frat is a very young alliance. Now, whether or not we need all of the space is an interesting question. I mean, I know when I fly around Oasa, pretty much every system is ratted. Every site has got someone in. Every belt has got a Rorqual in. I know there's a spin about that's all bots, but I'm not going to really go into that one. I've kind of said my piece numerous times on that one.
Yeah, respectable. We don't talk about bots unless Rich Richmond is here, so no worries on that.
I mean, I'm always happy to talk about it, right? But it's just one of those subjects that comes up every time, and it gets a bit draining eventually.
Yeah, no, for sure, and I completely agree. So I guess I think the narrative comes from that you guys are taking like a lot of spaces, that because that's you are. You're taking a lot of, you're not taking more space than anybody else has, but at this moment in time, you are one of the entities that is truly taking up a large amount of systems within a couple regions of the game, and you're taking them pretty quickly. So I think that's where that narrative comes from. I feel like it just gets kind of spun around a little bit, that it's happening and that you're kicking out all the little guys. But honestly, and I've said it from day one, that the little guys are just fuck the little guys. If you don't know how to be diplomatic in nullsec, then just go back to lowsec. That's what I told the people in Forsaken Empire, and them, not following that advice led to them being kicked out of their space and eventually their alliance disbanding. But that's, if you can't defend your shit, whether it's diplomatically or otherwise, then you don't really deserve to have it, in my opinion. That's probably controversial.
I think that is controversial. I mean, I to be honest, I think actually it's good for small alliances to grow, and it's kind of interesting to see what's going on down in Providence and Catch and all of those areas. I think the interesting predicament around Vale is with the kind of strategic need to go there for the low sec access, but an entity on your doorstep that has been wailing you for the last 4 or 5 months. You kind of have to respond, right? That's not a safe position to start putting your crabs into, right?
4 or 5 months. Come talk to me when it's been 5 years in a row of them wailing from you in your NPC region and you can't get away from it. Then you can complain.
I agree. I entirely agree. But to be clear, though, we're moving into an area in range of low sec, right? So we're not doing this hiding kind of out of range of anyone to come and get us, right? I'd kind of agree if we were kind of going to another like Detorid that was kind of hidden away, but we are exposing ourselves going to low sec borders. I mean, everyone knows. I mean, I'm guessing Redline you'll know as well. Geminate, Vale, Tribute, all those sort of areas are pretty easily hittable from low sec.
Oh yeah, very, very much so.
I mean, how many alliances are there right now in low sec? Like Snuffed, like a few other ones, but for the most part, low sec is pretty open for grabs. I would say, wouldn't y'all?
Well, they use them as stagings, right? Like Init used Hakonin as stagings in
that's kind
the
of what I
Tribute
was
Veil
meaning.
thing.
Yeah.
And then and same with Oi Janin as well. Test used that during the glassing of Tribute.
Yeah, I mean, it's not beyond the wit of man and super complex to go, right, we're going to move a whole load of, dreads and everything into like an NPC station in Obe, for example. Yeah, okay, there's not people there now, but, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a couple jumps through low sec and then you're there. So I guess I had a really good question, but I forgot what it was. So, I mean, you can assume that it was probably not a very good question in that regard. But we're about halfway through the show, and I want to take a moment just to shout out some stuff that we're doing before we move into the free for all zone, which is a new thing we're trying tonight, where we just talk about whatever we want to and just let the conversation flow. So last month, if you weren't aware, we did a donation drive where anything that was donated to this channel was donated to charity. It was the Icelandic Red Cross. This was something that Ithaca Hawk and some other great EVE Online contributors started, and we were able to give 15,000, what is it, Icelandic something? What's the
Kronas.
Icelandic
Cro-
kronas?
yes, kronas are crowns.
So that's ISK in Iceland.
It
And we were able to,
literally is ISK.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. So this month we're doing the same kind of thing, except this time it's the National Civil Rights Museum. You can see that down in the panels there. We're trying to see if we can't raise 500 for that, because it's Black History Month and we support, all of the endeavors for all people to be equal across the board. It's a big thing with this entire show is to make everybody equals and not give anybody any kind of preferential treatment. So if you feel like donating to that, feel free. Your donation will be appreciated, and every single cent of that will go towards the cause. There is also a link to donate on your own if you would like to make sure if you can't trust us or something like that. But yeah, that's what we're doing this month. So if you contribute, feel free. If not, that's okay. You hanging out watching the show, that's enough for me. So that does bring us to the second half of the show. So what's happened in your guys' lives in EVE Online? What do you want to talk about tonight?
I just restarted some PI. Trying to refresh my memory. That's about it.
In what system, if you don't mind my asking?
Hold on here. Let me go look at the map. DTEC P.
DTEC, the fuck? That's not a
Where-
system you own. What do you mean?
Would they ever suspect me out there in an epithop?
Probably not. That does bring up an interesting question. I've seen a lot of stuff about goons wanting a bunch of PI, like materials. What's up with that?
Ihubs need PI to make them.
Did you guys run out of Ihubs too?
No.
Okay.
We have
At least
stuff.
3?
We have at least 3 Ihubs left somewhere.
Okay.
In
Just
someone's
like
couch cushion.
just like we have at least 3 dreadnoughts, right?
Yeah, you've got at least 3 dreadnoughts. I said you had 5 dreadnoughts, so.
Yeah, I know there's been like a customs office, just a massive spree of destruction of customs offices, which I think will continue until morale improves. So you guys might want to lift the Heckcamp so we can get our Titans and stuff out so that our morale can finally improve to where we don't have to just go kill Pocos all day.
Yeah, after that we can kill Pocos with carriers and supers.
I mean, you can kill Pocos all you want.
Can.
We
know
killed
you-
Pocos in the area of Esoteria we're in. Killed them all.
Is it just me, or is it refreshing to shoot something that doesn't have a damage cap on it? Just a little bit.
I've been shooting Pocos too, and I've done that very little. Most wars we don't ever really worry about that. We don't pussyfoot around. We just go straight for the keep stars, and it's fun. We were like, how well do Leshaks doing these things? And they're crazy.
It's like they were designed specifically to kill Pocos.
I know, right?
No, they do well with anything that
Wait, were
large
they?
EHP structures. Obviously, I mean, maybe it's all part of
Leshaks-
CCP's anti-PI campaign that
They
nobody
were
told us about.
designed to kill capitals.
Yes, I know, but large things with large structure.
What is the
essentially
CCP?
like? What's the difference between a capital ship and a Poco outside of the fact? Like, obviously, one's not a ship, but
The Poco doesn't move.
they're just sitting there with a large amount of EHP. Exactly. So I mean, the Leshak will work just as well on the Poco as it will on a Rorqual. Except the Poco's not going to try to cap up and
Call for
rep.
backup.
Exactly.
What if
Well, I mean, maybe.
CCP allowed you to put a jump drive on a Poco?
Oh my god, that'd be cool.
Like when keep stars could warp around when they first came out.
Yes.
I'm
They need to
MG
bring that back.
FCM MGD in the Poco.
No, they really don't.
I'm
Be so
not
much
gonna.
fun.
I'm not gonna lie. When the ESS first came out, I tried to warp the GE Tech Keepstar to the ESS.
That's amazing. That's just incredible. Hey GF guys, glad you made us form. Is this your doing mind one? I'll have you know that I'm very offended by this hate speech in my channel.
Wait, we formed?
Apparently.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know either. I saw some kills.
I think he's talking about
I'm here, so
for the M2 Ihub. Is
Yeah.
that correct? I know it was. I know it was mind one. I'm just fucking with you. I appreciate you.
I mean, if Pappy can keep Sov 3 and M2, I think that's a pretty decent victory right there. Or get D-Tank W back.
that keeps our already paid served its purpose and got us enough kills way beyond what it costs.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's done its
no one's
job.
disagreeing that, like, but if we could get like a jump bridge and sign up jammers up, it would be the end of the M2 fiasco.
You think so?
I think if we hit Sov 3, then yeah, we can reasonably say that M2 would effectively be over.
You know, I want to know, do you guys think that there will be another big brawl anytime soon?
I wasn't even expecting M2 to be a big thing because. So, don't. I'm usually wrong about these things, so don't ask me.
Okay.
So the answer that I have for that question is no. I do not think that there will be another brawl like that. Personally, I feel like if something like that's going to happen, it'll just not happen. Given the experience that we've had so far, that we don't really know how many people we can put into a system. And obviously, I held that in my mouth for too long. Obviously, if we have 12,000 people chomping at the bit to fight, and it's not going to work, they're not just going to say, oh, okay, never mind, 3,000 of you just hang back and wait until we know the server's secure and safe.
You guys have enough people to go do something else in the meantime.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, right, the big crowning gem of this whole campaign was going to be taking out the 3 keep stars, or defending, if you're a goon member, the 3 1DQ keep stars.
There are 5 in
5?
1DQ.
I can't keep count. Every time you lose one, you anchor a new one in 1DQ.
They've been 5 since like month 2 of the
done.
war.
They're
We've
shaped
done
like a penis.
It is.
That's right. I remember. Anyway, so the 5 keep stars. The main 3 ones though, that are in the triangle formation near the T5 gate.
The main 4 that are in the penis shape together on the
Yeah.
same grid.
Whatever. However, I can't count. Listen.
We know it's fair. It's fine.
Did you give him some gummies too?
No, I didn't. I'm not sharing the gummies. I'm just eating them myself.
But anyways, that's just straight up not going to happen anymore, for at least until we know we have some kind of solution that lets 25,000 people fit into local at one time.
Well, we only needed 12, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that 20, like, getting everyone into local without it dying.
So we're back to that. The original argument, and I saw Ron mention it in the chat earlier, that you can't count kills that CCP gave you. When CCP
you
didn't
can.
really give you kills, you just benefited off of a massive server malfunction.
I like how Ron bans everybody from his chat for like even being like, "Hi, I like Delve," but he wants to come in here and throw some shade about the servers dying because you made a poor choice.
Well, no
It's
one's gonna
his,
kick
it's
you
his
here for
stream,
being a
dude.
goon.
Like he
I
can do
know
whatever
it's
the
his
fuck
stream.
he can do whatever the
I
fuck
just-
he wants on his stream.
I just find it a little hypocritical.
No, he can do
Why?
whatever the fuck he wants on his stream.
It's
Like if you
Tuesday.
don't like it, don't watch.
It is hypocritical. There's no. That's fine.
I haven't watched ever since he banned the word Delve. I haven't watched a single minute, and that was
That's on you.
5 months ago.
So the fun thing is though is that this is Trash Talk Tuesday, and right now there's not been a whole lot of trash talk because we're just having a nice conversation. It's there's just no reactions, I guess. Just like there's no reactions in Delve right now because all of your planets are fucking gone up in smoke.
No bad
And
too.
But reactions come from moons, not planets.
I was adding on to it.
Well,
and
they
you have
kinda
no
do.
place to do them.
Well,
And that-
you have to get moon goo to do reactions, right? So I guess technically reactions do come from moons, right?
I mean, I don't know enough about industrial shit to argue with you, so I'm not gonna
I
do
don't.
that.
I don't build a damn thing in this game. I built my Titan and that was it.
Oh, okay, so I can't argue with you. You're wrong.
Okay.
Now, I believe, yeah, you do use some moon shit sometimes for certain things, and in conjunction with BI to get things done. But you receive planetary interaction materials from the planets, so I don't know. Also, the planets host the moons. I don't know, like egg before chicken. It's getting weird, but yeah,
What?
I
Egg
don't know,
before
dude.
chicken?
I mean, I'm trying to make an argument that makes sense. It's just really hard.
It's yes.
I mean, what do we want to trash talk about? We got to trash talk about something, right? What's it going to be? Anything you guys can think of?
I mean, we've already talked about all the subjects that I'd want to trash talk.
Because shit, we've literally been trash talking for like the last how many months has this war been going on?
One
I
and a
mean,
half.
if Omeka was here, I would just sit there and just trash talk him all day.
Of course
I
you
could
would, but
I
that's
could say
because
some words to him.
but that's because you want to personally attack him. You can't personally attack him.
Do you think we're like trash talked out, guys? Like after so many months of high octane shit talk on this show, do you think we're finally just like tired?
It's been 8 months. It's possible.
Yeah, it's been a fucking clip. Holy fuck.
Okay, there's a conversation.
It's been
So
8 months. Seriously.
how do we feel about the multiple no one cares about that multiple fronts and legacy space? Like the fuck cares? I don't care.
I mean, I'm having fun with it.
Are you?
Yeah.
I still
I'm
don't
like staged
understand.
in.
I still don't
I'm
understand why
staged in
you
like
guys
4
are
different
spending.
systems.
Still don't understand why you guys are spending time over there when there's an entire war happening in Delve. Like you're getting crushed, complaining about how you don't have enough numbers, but you've got the most popular FC in your entire alliance off bash and jump gates, while Ihubs are getting killed. Like not just regular Ihubs, not just regular run of the mill everyday Ihubs, but important ones. Like M2.
Asher led a lot of the fleets for the DTEC W and JP4 IHUB contests. And he's also there coordinating a ton of the fleets and handling the super and carrier fleets and dread fleets during all of those IHUB contentions. So forgive him
all
if
the
he
bad
takes.
posting.
I'm just saying, if he's going to take one alt down to go bash a jump bridge to potentially distract 100 people because y'all are frothing at the mouth to kill him, then sue him.
I think we're frothing at the mouth to just kill anyone at this
Why
point.
does
honestly.
Billy take out freaking X-Wings for 5 hours to go defend Esoteria when he should be focusing on his war in Delve?
I don't
Do
think
something
Billy
else
has
important.
ever taken out an X-Wing fleet this war, as long as I've been in text.
That was an entire discussion on the meta show like 3 weeks ago. With
The meta
Keisha
show
and
always
Bastion.
tells the truth, right, guys?
Well, with Keisha from the Bastion, who was having to fight him for 5 hours, I'm just saying.
No. Well, if he did, that's awesome, because I love X-Wings, but...
Like,
Of
course you do.
Both NC Dot and Pandemic Horde didn't have to, but they came out and helped test fight us just a few days ago. And it does happen.
I was
I
there.
gotta eat more gummy bears. God damn it.
Eat more of them if I were you. It's better if you eat more.
Wait, why is he eating gummy bears?
I'm getting
'Cause we-
deeper into the container, and the deeper I get, the more wet these gummy bears are, and it's becoming an issue.
So it's more vodka.
No, you can't say what kind of gummy bears they are. That ruins the point. Careful.
You could shake them to like mix it
There's
up to get
strawberry jam.
No, anyways, so, but to go to your point, Don, like I don't want to sue Asher for going and doing stuff somewhere else, but I will question the motives when these important things are happening. And like I said, your most popular Alliance FC is off doing, whatever, where people aren't even fighting him, and then running to anywhere that will listen and posting about it. Like it's kind of cringe, but I mean, I get it. If he's burned out, that's fine.
I mean,
But
yes, he's
he can-
totally burned out.
He can
No energy
like
whatsoever.
you can say that shit, right? it's okay when you run a lot of fleets, you get burnt out. It's not a problem. It's just a thing that fucking happens.
Yeah, he's very burnt out. Clearly,
Okay,
running
so
multiple
confirmed it.
deployments.
Asher burned out running multiple
Hashtag
deployments.
run it.
I mean, it's
Run
not
it.
a problem though,
Sorry.
because you guys have Apple Pay, right? So you guys could just like switch a route.
Oh my god!
Easy,
Don't even get me started
easy-
on Apple Pear.
like easy fix. And
No,
Blorkus, I mean, Blorkus could always step up a little bit too. I know he's in it, but he could always like jump clone over.
It's a little pain right there.
Yeah,
I
see,
really
Riker says it. All there is to it is that Asher is the hero of the Imperium and deserves a break, and that the Imperium has many other very talented FCs. I
I
just
thought Caiaphas
Well,
Kane was the hero of the Imperium.
don't
Like,
know where
let's
they
be clear
are.
here. Half of that is right. Like, Asher definitely deserves a break, just like all the main FCs in this fucking war deserve a break. This is not the kind of thing that people should have to do, as their hobby fun time, but it is what it is in EVE Online.
And it is a hobby fun time though. It's fun to lead fleets instead in some
No,
people
that's
hate it.
that's a misconception. It's fun to lead fleets on
What?
your own time with low responsibility. It is significantly less fun to lead fleets when you have to do them every night, rain or shine, under pressure, outnumbered, outgunned, etc., 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 right? It's not the same thing at all to like lead a casual fun fleet.
Yeah, but the difference is so a hobby is something you do for fun. An addiction is something you do because you're compelled to by the dopamine hits you get after you win that fleet fight.
Yeah, I could tell you a lot of the FCs at
Yes.
certain levels aren't doing it for dopamine hits. They're doing it for out of duty more than anything, I think.
Chasing the dragon.
Liking some dopamine hits.
Wait, are we talking about drugs?
No, dude, we're talking about
No.
EVE Online and how it's
I will.
become a drug of sorts to some people.
Okay, fair enough. So now that Villy's here, I can ask Villy how he feels about the M2 breakout, and he has to tell me more than 6 words because his show too. So Villy, how does that feel? And also, why didn't you do it on a Monday instead of a Tuesday so I could talk about it the next day instead of having to wait a whole fucking week? Killing me.
Why did we do it that night? We did it on the Tuesday night because the Tuesday night prior we had the large cap brawl, and we had a very effective kind of flash form numbers check in terms of what we would get versus the enemies. We had a good idea on how we were going to be able to do basically. So it just gave us a very clean picture of our expectations for that kind of a night. That's why we chose Tuesday.
And so, what kind of went into it? Like, not to get it deep into the plans, but
Lots
so
of planning went into it. You had all the Pappy, leadership crew. You had Gobbins and Vince and Headliner and everybody that, is, relevant in the discussion. They were all pitching together plans. We put together a really solid plan and we executed really well. Goons executed well in their defense too. Don't get me wrong, but the plan came together really nicely. We extracted. We got the majority of our supers and titans on the bottom out. It cost us 400 dreads. We killed 6 titans, lost 6 titans, and we're able to, put ourselves back in a position to be a fully effective fighting force in Delve. Everybody was super pumped about it. It gave, hope to all the guys who had been stuck there that, even if they didn't get out that night, they were going to get out without too much trouble. At some point, it was just a really important moment, and kind of refreshing the cause, I guess you could say.
yeah, so definitely like a big morale boost just to watch the camp kind of fall over and let everything out. But they kind of had to, right? Because if they didn't kill the dreads, they would have lost anything that was untethered at that point. So it was a sacrifice that was worth it, right? I think.
Well,
Discord, say again?
I think for both sides, I think it was a sacrifice worth it. I mean, well, one side had, like Don said earlier, you couldn't let the dread sit there at 0. They'll start killing shit, right? So you had to take care of them. That's not the only choice, but it's the best choice of the situation. And Tess did a great job of implementing that plan. It worked. Got shit out. Had to deal with
And
I
I assume
mean,
you
in the
guys
end, it was a
timed it
choice,
too.
right? Timed what?
Because I assume we timed the dread drop, unless I couldn't see everything per se right away until I noticed the giant orange ball next to me.
Well, honestly,
But
the dread drop happened entirely not how we planned it. We
oh,
assumed you guys would have, a bubble on your Sino, but you didn't. So we were literally able to drop one Sino and put all the dreads through it instead of having to worry about bosons and lances and stuff. So instead of doing like 8 different Sinos with 50 dreads per group and all this other stuff, you put a Sino with no fucking bubble on it. So we just warped to your Sino with 0 and put all the dreads in. Made it
oh,
super
that's
easy.
well. So the reason why I thought I would assume you would have had some timing on it, and maybe there was a little timing in there, is you guys dropped, I think, after we went DD free on our targets.
As soon as we saw DD spooling, we jumped, yeah.
Okay, see, that's what I thought. I was like,
Well,
because
we're
if
not
you
going to
had
jump
dropped
until
them,
you see,
right, you wouldn't have jumped if we were just sitting there, because then we would just make that choice, tether and give you no kills, and but we started our position, so that forced us into having to shoot you because we were all detethered for up to a few minutes.
correct.
But it was fun.
It seemed fun. I was in bed when it was all happening, and I literally just got like a dozen DMs like, Redline, the breakout's happening, you have to stream it. So I got out of bed and turned on the stream, and it was beautiful to see everything jump out. And it was even more fun to watch the reactions from everybody else as they're just seeing everything jump out after weeks of, knowing or saying that they wanted to keep the Heckcamp as strong as possible.
We're gonna hold that pigeon.
No, for
Yeah.
my
Exactly, holding the
like
pigeon.
we all bridged in, and then I'm like, I see supers, and I'm like, wait, we're bringing supers into M2, and then I heard the call to log in all Titans and supers or whatever the fuck it was under the keep. And like I managed to get it on recording as like tie-dye spiking, and it was great because you could see everything landing at the same time, and Imperium was on the ball. They like were already bridging in Titans as Pappy Titans were landing and shit. It was glorious to see. And then the like brawl of people trying to cap up, make sure they're all out of the bubbles because Imperium was just like feeding dictors, to try and keep them on grid and whatnot. It was great to see. A lot of coordination, I think, from both sides, so it was really cool.
Yeah, I rolled out of bed for mass pings from Horde, then logged in my dread, and then I jumped and died. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was from my end, we were in Bazzies, and I know like at one point we like our fleet just stopped moving, so our pilot or our Logi anchor just stopped us. We turned off all our modules except the cap boosters, and we were like capping an avatar, and he was able to jump out because like some folks just didn't have enough capacitor to make it. And so it was like kind of neat just to be like being in a subcap but being able to help make a difference, and same I'm assuming the same from the other side as well, just doing everything they could.
There was actually an interesting part is they were clearing the bubbles from the center first, so it made it harder for our dictors to warp down. That's why we couldn't get dictors and hictors in there very easily, because instead of starting out and working their way in, they started in the center and caved out. And so the outer bubbles were actually preventing our dictors from getting in there fast enough to get those inner titans.
Oh, that's clever. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you can see it on the stream, like that it just started getting caved out in the center. Now, I don't know if that was like anybody's like initial plan or if it was just like, oh, hey, this is working, let's keep doing this. But it was very interesting
Well,
to see that strategy.
as the Titans were were logging in, they were shooting. Like you could see there was a video that I forget who it was, but they put it out, and it was basically you could see what he was targeting, and it looked like they all had overviews set up for like distance arrow down for bubbles, and the Titans were just shooting the bubbles. And Titans are pretty good at shooting structures, so bubbles are structures, and that's so they just kind of cleared it out from wherever they were to so that they could get out, and that is what resulted in that kind of going from the middle and working its way out, which is pretty cool. It was all really cool.
It
Yeah, it
also
was
could have been something at the top, right? So I know like RFC was headliner, so headliner was probably privy to any sort of breakout information. So I'm assuming what he did was he had something that told him where all of the PL Titans were, and we were in the NC dot fleet too, so the PL and NC Titans. and so they were able to call targets based on where they knew at least our Titans were landing to clear our guys out. And then when our guys got out, then they started clearing stuff for, the other fleets and whatnot. Like people were coordinating their own stuff, but it all worked together. It's one of the benefits of having, like 4 subcap fleets or something like that, all kind of working towards the same common goal.
And
we
having
should
like
do
a
it again
billion people.
sometime.
Yeah, how's later tonight sound?
I mean,
That's
As long as it's earlier than 1 a.m., that'd be great.
Yeah, please.
No guarantees,
I'd gladly roll out of bed to do it again tonight.
Give me something to talk about on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not providing a whole content for you here to talk about on Thursday. But Twitch chat is still fired up. Like, holy cow!
They've ignored us and they're just fighting with themselves.
I know. I've realized
you go.
this, guys. We're doing a show here. You understand that, right? Like, come on, you got to interact with us, not just the chat. All right. Somebody said they hate me. Now I'm gonna cry. This new T guy.
We're interrupting them.
Oh, okay. Sorry, chat. Carry on. Do your thing. We'll just continue talking about whatever the hell we're talking about. Please forgive. So, anyways, so now that there's obviously no real threat in M2 as far as like Sinojammer is concerned, at least from the Imperium side. Villy, strategically, what do you think like the next steps are? As far as, do you think we go for the M2 Keepstar like right now? I mean, not right now, but once everything is ready to be jammed up, or let that area simmer down and obviously don't give out future plans. I don't expect you to. So, what'd you say?
Discord. So I mean that's a month out. So like in the meantime, so in the meantime, what's going to happen here is, I don't know. I'm not going to necessarily divulge kind of what our strategy or plans are in the future here, but I think it's a safe bet that we're going to keep killing things. We killed 2 Fortizars tonight already, and we're just chewing stuff up bit by bit. We reinforced another Sodio, another faction for it. Like just gonna keep tightening that news. Go back to Old Faithful here. Tighten that news, and make it harder and harder. And I think it's even going to be more than last time, because people are realizing that even if they win the big battle, it doesn't necessarily mean the war's over for them. I think one of the big things about M2 that's really been favorable for us is, the analogy V likes to use is that we're a boxer in a ring and it's round 12, right? And they saw us on the ground and they used everything they had to try and go for the knockout, right? And we stood back up and all of a sudden we're fresh and they're gassed, and it seems very very effective right now in terms that everything we do is coming up roses. I don't think we've lost like a single major engagement in almost 2-3 weeks now. It's just crazy, and that is hopefully something we can continue.
And see, and I've noticed that too, where it's just like it's that there's always been this primary focus on M2, and I'm wondering how much longer that's gonna be a thing. Like, I get that the promise or even the slightest sliver of hope for Titan kills is something that they would obviously want to stick around for, but you run the risk of turning the rest of your space into an island, or turning the rest of your space into an ocean where it's not safe for you to be, and then you're just stuck in M2 on this island, just like 1DQ could eventually be, where the only place that goons can be and delve is you. Otherwise, they just get shit on every time they step out.
I still don't see how that's different than it is already right now, but okay.
Well, because you can still go and you're doing stuff. You can
And get
contest
Black Ops
objectives.
dropped wherever I go, or
Well, I
get
mean,
dropped from.
not like farming. You obviously can't go rat and delve. Nobody can do anything in delve right now because
That's
delve
not
is
true.
just
They've been
I
doing some
rat and
ratting.
delve.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like when it's slow or the system's empty because it's further back and harder to get to. Yeah, you can do stuff out there, but like what we've did in the past and done before, the amount we've done in the past, it's not gonna happen in Delve. And it really hasn't been happening in Delve for way before the war. It's
Well,
definitely gone
sure.
down even more than before that. But
But that's
most
what
people have
Helm's
had to
Deep was
buy
for,
them.
wasn't it?
It was a place to provide the newer people or the people who don't have 50 alts that can go find other ways to make money, a place that they could try to make at least enough money to keep going or supplement the things they like to do. But I've had to find ways to make money outside of Delve 4 months. So I'm going on a year now here in probably fucking May. Plenty of other people in the alliance have had to find unique creative ways to make funds. And I guarantee in other spaces too, they've had to do it too. Maybe not the same extent, but there are plenty of places that, have NPC regions where they get harassed by whoever decides to fucking live there and have to find ways to make money because you can't just go out and rat and mine willy nilly anymore.
But I think I'm talking less about ratting and mining and more about just the fact that, so like if you look at the last few weeks, so while M2 has been camped, we've had some pretty big deal stuff happen. Like M2, the Ihub for M2 happened. There's been some smaller fights, but still pretty costly here and there. And it's all, like Billy said, it's all coming up roses for us. And the thing is that I what I would hate to see is that the rest of this war, up until it gets into 1DQ, like I would hate to see the goalpost move so far that the only place that is defensible or considered someplace where there will be a fight is 1DQ. Because I would hate that. That would be boring for everybody.
I mean, it might get down to that. I mean, who knows? I'm not the master strategist. I mean, I am, but I'm
Yeah,
not
I
in
heard
charge
you
of.
were, so I mean
I am.
that's why I'm talking to you, because
I'm
you're
not.
obviously the smart one.
I don't know what the choices are or the priorities per se, because I have things that I would prefer, but they're not the priority. So I just go with the role.
So
If we get kicked out to NPC Delve, we get kicked out to NPC Delve, and then we hot drop a clock until everyone wants to cry.
Yeah, true facts. So
Or
what does
until we have
anybody
no
else think
capitals
about it?
left.
Let's hear some other thoughts on that. What do you think about 1DQ becoming an island where it's the only place that ever gets defended?
I think we
Um,
got a long way to go before we can start having that conversation.
Think so?
Yeah.
I mean, but right now we're seeing like there is no contest over the iHub. Right now you're not being contested killing these other structures that are in systems that aren't M2 or 1DQ. I mean, we're already kind of there to an extent, it seems. Maybe not to the point where they're just literally not leaving 1DQ, but we're getting closer to that every day.
Yeah, but there's a
Yeah,
lot of days in the middle there.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
just to get to the point where we're, looking at 1DQ, it's going to be multiple months, right? Like, there's just there's still almost 1,000 structures left in Delve, and I'm aware that like 10% of them are in 1DQ, but it's just piles and piles of structures, and then we've got to retake piles and piles of Sov, and then we got to hold that Sov. We've got to place people in that Sov. There's a massive amount of stuff that needs to be done here that is going to take considerable amounts of time.
just keep on squeezing the anaconda.
Yeah, but like I just think trying to be like, oh, what are you going to do when you're in 1DQ? It's like, you know, you get ahead of yourself and you end up in a M2 situation, right? You got to take it one step at a time, slow and steady, consistent, and just keep putting them under pressure. Keep doing your best to choke them out.
I just want
And
to know.
go
Go ahead.
ahead. Oh, you.
I was just gonna say, I just like some of the stuff that like decision making or strategic choices for both sides are very dependent on what CCP are gonna do. Because we know there's some iHub changes supposedly coming. There, you know, everyone's getting a little tight on resources in some way because there's just not a lot getting mined or produced. And I'm just wondering how that's going to play out with the choices. 'Cause I know some places or some groups that may want to move somewhere or take some space are hesitant about making their choice, because if you take a space that looks like it could be moderately okay now, could be shit in 3 months.
Well, I think
Or you
that's
could
the
just take
nature of the
Delve.
game, huh?
I mean, Delve's though so much fun. There's
Delve's
kind
gonna be
of
a fun spot for a long time. There's no doubt about that one.
there's some infestation. Once that's cleared up, then maybe.
Once it's cleared up.
Yeah,
So
we'll get the beekeeper in.
exactly. So the infestation is you guys, by the way. You're the insects in this
No,
scenario.
This is our home. It's a
You're lit-
natural home.
Your
This is
logo is
actually-
literally a bee. It's an insect. You are the infestation. Leave.
No,
Get out.
Sucks. We are, aren't we? God damn it.
You're a honeycomb though, so you're at least delicious.
Ooh, okay.
So now we're
I,
going
I, I like
there.
I don't know what to say here. Honestly, like it's been a good couple weeks. Hopefully it continues to be a good couple weeks, and we'll see if goons rebound or not. Usually wars, they go in. There's always a pendulum. It swings in your favor, and then it swings against you, and then it swings in your favor again, and swings against you again. It would not surprise me if we continue to see that happening over and over and over again. But certainly, Pappy forces aren't going away. Certainly, Imperium forces aren't going to be going away easily. We've got months and months of content ahead of us. And anybody that's upset about that, well, that's how it's going to go.
Just be upset about it. We don't care. If you want to be upset, that's fine.
I mean, there's always the people that don't play this game for the same reason everybody else does, right? So
Yeah. Well, and I mean that'd be an interesting conversation too, is to see why people actually do play the game. I mean, because I play the game to get into fights and have some fun, but it's different for everybody. I know Pittsburgh, my good buddy Pittsburgh, he just wants to kill every goon that exists all the time. That dude's a fucking machine.
He's just bitter.
I mean, yes, and
That's
it's
not
well
healthy.
deserved.
I was gonna say, I think he's got a good reason for being bitter.
I'm not arguing with that, but it's not healthy.
What happened to Pitts? I haven't heard the story. Oh yeah, I know exactly what happened to Pitts.
I
Never
was gonna
mind.
say, I feel like everyone's heard that story. It's a little old.
So, I mean, it is little, but he got kicked from Goons after being one of the most loyal people in Goons for years, and they tried to paint him as just this massive toxic asshole, which is not true. Like if you know Pitts, you know that it's not true. And he's not an asshole at all. He's a bit of a dick sometimes, especially when he just throws in Discord, fuck you, Redline, or something like that. But most of the time he's good. And the biggest thing about him is that he's a fleet leading machine. Like if there's one person that I can count on to never burn out, it's Pittsburgh, which is amazing to me. But
Pitts is a bro.
I'm
I
not.
gotta say,
And I'm just trying to
I
figure
enjoyed
out
Pittsburgh Fleet.
who else in Goons has that same level of drive. Like Apple Pear was leading fleets at the very beginning of this, and then when EUTZ was allegedly burnt out and everything switched to USTZ, he took a step back. That's what Mitten said. It's not spin. It's just legit. What Mitten said is we're giving the EU guys a break. It's fine. But then it got switched back, and I haven't seen a whole lot of Apple Pear.
So you're asking which FCs would. Well, Apple Pear likes structure grind. He likes having for his fleets. He likes having an objective, something to go towards. So he's really good at structure grinds and.
I see a lot of Tom Flood. I see a lot of Dave Archer. I see a lot of Mr. V. I see a little bit of Elo. Sometimes some Asher here and there. I know he's doing a lot of Sig stuff, but not many other people. I mean, am I wrong in that assessment?
Alice.
I haven't seen an Alice ping in a while. It might be because I'm asleep when he pings.
Honestly, it's like almost all of the CN and AU and early EUTZ fleet. And later,
Yes.
because he just stays up forever.
Oh, and looks like Altari Phoenix is doing the some of the stuff there as well. Oh, there's a cash fleet. Cool. Cash is back.
Cash is around. He's home, so he's
Nice.
doing stuff. I don't even know all your guys' FCs.
There's a billion of them.
Because we have like
I know you have a
120.
lot to choose from. You do have a lot to choose from.
Because we are a coalition as opposed to two alliances.
Two.
But
We have like
A lot of alliances. What?
You have initiative. Well,
like 5 or 6 or
15,
something.
Bastion.
compared. So
I mean, there's a lot. Yeah.
the main ones are Goon Swarm and Initiative, right? And from that, it's just mostly Goon Swarm who has like the FC in terms of the Delve War.
Those are the big. You're correct.
You're kind of cutting out a little bit there, Don.
So we got good. French connection. It's my connection. It's not good.
Oh, okay.
Is it French?
No, it's good. Oui. We've got like 7 alliances that I can think of off the top of my head, I think.
So 7 alliances as opposed to like 12
102.
in, like
You guys
12
don't
in
out-
Legacy.
True thing.
So
Lean in
Jeremy,
one.
what you're saying is that there's a large coalition with a lot of FCs to choose from.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
cool.
a big pond.
I don't even know all the FCs in my corp.
Cap
I
has
bet
a lot of them.
I bet you do.
Well, I think you know the ones that you'd want to fly with.
I mean, the biggest thing about this war is it's pushed me personally and a lot of other people personally into doing things that we would have never done on our own. Like
there you go.
running fleets or learning different PvE or PvP activities or trying out different PvP things that aren't necessarily just being in the main fleet but doing other things that help support the groups, whatever it may be. I know I've had to like do a lot of stuff that I am not necessarily good at, but no one else is doing it, so someone's got to step up.
I've noticed that with Pappy too. It's been a lot of fun being able to like help out and do things and kind of see how some of this stuff works behind the scenes if you're not normally used to it. Like, I mean, I know being in PL, you normally don't move an entire super cap force. So being able to be involved in that and seeing all the behind the scenes work that goes into organizing and moving people and trying to make sure everyone stays safe is actually really interesting from my perspective. Like that was like yeah. That was something I did, right? Like I normally like a move op, it's like, oh, okay, put all your ships in whatever the fuck and then light the Sino and get a bridge. Like it's super easy. But when you're doing like, like the all day like super Titan moves, like those are really interesting to me because like
yeah.
you never do that. Like most alliances don't just casually pack up all their supers and Titans and move across the galaxy.
I remember when the M2 move up for the timer. I think the whole timer. It was really a lot of work. Like I thought I would just be there semi AFKing it, but no, you literally do have to like sit there and you have to be like tracking like what sinos have to go soon, what sinos can step up, like how long someone's been there, like how much ozone do they have, do we have any breaks in the chain, stuff like that.
What regional gates you've got to cover.
Yeah, well, if you're
that we have to deal with.
if you're like test and you just literally did not take a single regional for your move up, like go through the entirety of low sec basically.
Yeah, no, I have fun with stuff like that because I do a lot of Logi stuff already for the Alliance or like, normal scouting sinos or whatever. So like some of that hasn't been too engaging for me, but doing some other things. And I actually like recently, so they got the Pappy Coalition Discord going. So what ends up happening is anyone from Pappy can ping, well, maybe not anyone, but people like FCs from Pappy can ping and anyone can join their fleets. So what that turns into is just like you have this fleet of like 200 dudes and they're like all on like some random like Mumble or TeamSpeak or whatever, where like everyone's just kind of piled in, and you have to try and learn who's the new FC, who's kind of calling things, what sort of customs and whatnot other cultures or other alliances do for getting people all up to speed. So like with PL, we have our own like Logi Discord, or not Logi Discord, Logi channel, and so we have to like get everyone access to that channel and then like yell at them, like use the MOTD, whereas like other groups, they all just type it out, like they'll just type to each other day in and day out as it scrolls by. I think like Horde mostly does that. So it's been really interesting just seeing like the different cultures of these alliances. As someone who isn't really interested in joining another alliance, just being able to see that has been pretty fun from my perspective.
Yeah, I
Why'd you
remember when
guys
I had.
kick me out? I was in the Pappy Discord, and finally someone got to my name and kicked me out. I was sad.
I mean,
I
I'm not in
couldn't
it
see
because
anything.
I'm not in it because I don't join anything but PL fleets, but like I think just having others join my fleet has been pretty neat.
No, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Like going on Headliner's fleet, and I think it's important to like be in that Discord, just as in general,
Oh God,
because.
please no.
But anyways, that's just the FC
Please,
talking.
please don't lecture. Please don't lecture about being in that Discord. Please
Yeah,
don't.
like
Please.
I've heard there's no like social channel, which is
It's
probably
literally just for pings. It's
yes,
literally just for
that's
pings.
good. Yes,
That
because
was
God,
100% intentional.
yes, because I mean I see how PL acts on our own social channels, and this is like a group of 100 boomers or whatever, and it gets super rowdy. So I do not want to see that with like 40,000 people or whatever.
And in
Yeah.
Rust.
Yeah. Oh my God, I literally left
No,
the Rust Discord because I couldn't handle how bitchy everyone is.
the going on like a PL fleet for the first time with Headliner for one of the iHub fights was very interesting because Test, Horde, Brave, all of them are very kind of loose alliances, I guess you'd say, in terms of like comms and stuff like that. It's pretty chatty. But PL is like you just sit silently for 2 hours while the FC tells you what to do.
I mean, it's great. I love being on headliner fleets because, like, if there's somebody from PL, he'll like yell at them. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you fucking up?" And then if it's like someone not in PL, he like talks very nicely to them and like it's very
I
forgiving.
know.
But everyone from PL, he's like, no excuses. But I mean, like that's what we did in PL. Like, I remember people would make fun of us for flying caracals around because like we were just like, "Fuck yeah, let's fly caracals." But that was how we learned all of our discipline on how to do shit. Like if you can fly a caracal against a larger fleet, then you could definitely fly hacks against like enemy fleets. So like that's how we all learned our discipline. So we really like people like me, I have no excuse when I fuck up or whatever.
I always have an excuse when I fuck up.
Ever since I replaced my
It's really
mouse,
hard to fuck up
my
on
fleet
Logi.
errors have gone down by like 90%. I didn't know how bad my mouse was messing me up. So that was my excuse gone, but
Yeah.
I had this
Well, I
one mouse
find that
once that
when you're in Logi, you don't have to worry about a ton of mess up. You can still mess up, but it's not always noticed like, oh no, someone died. The reps didn't hold FC. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oops.
I mean, yeah, but if you're the Logi anchor, you pretty much can't fuck that up, right? Like that's
Yeah,
that's
well,
number
all the
one.
fleets that they've chosen, almost every doctrine they've chosen requires no anchoring because they go so fast. You just have to anchor on the FC, or else you'll be 60 kilometers in that direction in 2 seconds.
Man, I
yeah,
remember this
exactly.
one fleet. That was a long time ago. I was like a Logi anchor, but I hadn't done anything in Eve in a really long time. And Zeronis was the FC, so he's a NC dot guy. And shout out to Zeronis. Anyway, he
Who?
he's in Shiva, dude.
I like
Anyway,
thrones.
doesn't matter. Yeah, he's a stand up guy. Anyway, he's in Munins and he wants me to anchor the semis because we're fighting like rattlesnakes and I don't know. There's this whole thing. So I'm like, okay, cool. And holy fuck, was that ever challenging? To my credit,
Yeah.
I mostly did it, but motherfucker, like it's like really hard to do Logi anchor for Munins.
So doing sacks because they go just as fast or really close to it. They wanted me to try to anchor separately from the FC, and I looked at them. I was like, "You're fucking nuts!"
Well,
Like every FC,
it's one thing if they're like making like precise turns and going straight, but Zeronis was like, I don't know what he was doing. It's like his mutant fleet was breakdancing or something. And it was like this way, then that way, then this way, then that way. And I'm like, holy shit.
Dude, sometimes it
Anyway.
be like
secret.
that. Sometimes
I'm
it
gonna
be like
reveal a
that.
secret here. Anchoring for Asher is very difficult because he's very squirrely. So he'll just like, because he's very good at understanding spatial, like he's got very good 3D space awareness. Like he can understand a lot better than I can about like positioning and shit. So he'll be like, "Oh, I need to move over here," and no problem. He'll start moving, and you're like, "Oh, fuck! Now I gotta go left. Now I gotta go right. Now I gotta, it's the only person I've seen successfully anchor for Asher in such a fast fleet is Horrendous, and that's because they're like broskies and have been working together for so long.
I think Reaver probably has
She's
Logi anchored for Asher.
she has, but she's in it, so she's done for the past 3 years at least. She's been doing initiative fleets, and so she's been anchoring for them and in their groove more. But yeah, I think Reaver could probably get away with it, probably do it. I think maybe Sothrasel, if he ever would be able to make it too. Have you ever
Usually,
looked at Reaver's kill board? She's never had a single kill as a lot on her main.
I mean, if you have FCs that are
100% logic.
if you have FCs that like fly wildly, you just yell at them. Like I yell at my FCs all the time when they're doing dumb shit like that.
Like DJ slow down.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Homie, you're fucking burning," and they'll be like, "Oh, okay," and you just watch the monitor stop, and then all the hacks just like fucking bounce off of them. So funny.
The only time I've ever corrected FCs is when they like try to tell me how to anchor when we're like shooting a structure. And I've told like 2 people off. They were like, "Orbit me at 30." And I'm like, "You're fucking high." Cuz that's
Yeah,
not going
that
to work. And I had to explain the ranges of everything like, "No, we're going to sit here." They tried to like tell me to move to the back of the bubble, and I'm like, "So you want the people 60 kilometers from me to not be able to get reps? Okay, great idea. No, I'm gonna sit over here." So there's a few times where like I'll put my foot down about it, but I try to explain the thought process, and then we have that discussion on like why are they wanting me to move? Maybe there's something I don't know.
I think like orbiting Logi in general is a fucking horrible idea. Like just saying,
Not that
like,
far out.
well, I mean, even just orbiting like, why would you do that? Unless your Logi are like way faster than your mains or something, but that shouldn't really be the case.
Sometimes you can
On
orbit
Baltic
the
fleets,
lodge
that
you
how it is.
anchor, but not often.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
well, it
so like
depends, right? Like if you're just gonna sit on grid with like, I don't know, like if you're in like an Eagle fleet or something, right? Or like a Ferox fleet or something, like I guess you could maybe like if you're just gonna sit in one fixed position, but you usually have minnow reps for things like that. So like you don't really need to fucking to
Well,
orbit
until
your
they drop
Logi.
a dread on you and kill your faxes, I'm just saying like
well, how much
Yeah, I mean,
faster?
sure, but
What is the speed of an Osprey compared to a Ferox? I don't know off the top of my head. That's an Osprey
Well, the
go.
Ferox can't permanently run their micro warp drives
That's true.
and everything else
yeah, I
because
mean
they'll cap out, so they have cap boosters
it's a
usually.
it's
So
a pretty slow ship doctrine, right? But I mean, I don't know, man. I prefer like I would just want I want them either to approach me like if we're in a mutant fleet, or you just anchor and then that's what you're gonna do. Because when a bad guy shows up, like what am I gonna put my prop on with the fleet and just start burning? And my logi, like what's gonna happen to them? They're just gonna get strung out, probably. Like I
Quite
don't know.
possibly, yeah.
well, it
Just
depends on what's going on as a Logi anchor. If you want to get your Logi into a good position, you'll go full speed somewhere and then like slow down so they can catch up and get around you. If you're actually anchoring for a fleet, like as the Logi anchor, you usually set yourself to like 2/3 speed, so that way your Logis can get in front of you and keep a nice orbit. So that way you can't get booshed off completely or bombed completely. Because that's I've had that happen where like we're sitting in the middle of a fucking fight, 4 fleets versus one, and all of a sudden I get MJ'd off by some booster that like cuts through because it's 10% tie day. We can't see shit. And I'm 100 kilometers away, but instead of the Logiel being tightened up in a ball and all of us going, only 4 of us got booshed off, and so the
When
rest
was
could
the last
keep the
time you
fleet
guys
up.
fought 4 fleets versus 1?
YZ9. I distinctly remember that fight because it changed. It slowly got to more fleets on our side, but it started off with basically
Fountain?
4 fleets versus
You mean like the
no
Keepstar
Delve.
attacks?
No, this is the Operation
Oh,
Enho. Like
jeez.
that night, I was in the Baltic fleet on grid. We didn't have super trains. Well, we might have had super trains then. But we had 1 to 2 fleets, and then you guys had like a Nightmare fleet and an Eagle fleet, and then
Yeah, we
like
had 4
two
fleets and you guys
another
had 2. Okay.
yeah, something like that, right? And then it got worse because then Dread started dropping, and then Super started dropping. At some point, we all just stopped paying attention and watching the Titans fight, which was fun. So but fighting 4 fleets, basically, you guys would switch between primarying the Baltics and primarying the Super trains, just depended upon what was going on. But like, if you guys, 4 fleets are targeting just the Baltics, I got 4 primaries. Who do I save? Who do I
Save as
rep?
many as you can.
Exactly. We were just like, there was one Balgorn we saved 6 times. It wasn't until the last like 10 minutes of the fight that he finally died.
Were you in that battle we had in T-Par the other night? Where you guys like died to like almost every ship?
T-Part. I was in
Where
a
the Baltic
tank.
fleet died, like got
Oh,
obliterated?
no.
Okay.
No, I was tired. I think I had to go to sleep that night. I
That's
don't
probably what
remember, but I
most of
remember
the videos
seeing
are
that.
on.
No, I remember I was stuck in a different ship in a different fleet. So no, I didn't get to be there. I love Baltex. It's my favorite doctrine because I get to be a guardian and I get to go slow and actually see what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing.
No, I mean, to say the least, we were surprised when Asher decided to bring Baltics down to period basis. It was quite the slaughter.
It happens.
You mean they're not
I
like
mean,
sleeper OP anymore?
Well, the thing that made
Baltecs are strong. It's just
I
it's
think the
probably
thing
like
that
double
makes
Earth
them
numbers
OP
or
is
something. I think.
facts though, and there wasn't a lot of facts available that Baltic fleet, if I recall correctly.
Well, they had like 2 facts, but they were also sitting under their own PDS, just eating constant PDS. And you can only do that with, like the more ships that are taking damage, the more logi you need to kind of keep everybody topped up a little bit. And they were just, every ship that got broadcast died, right?
Yeah, it'll happen. I wish I'd been there somewhat because I've got an insured guardian that still hasn't fucking died yet.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's in XZ now, getting ready to be moved off to the next staging.
No, I don't have a guardian there. They're in 1DQ.
Oh.
What are they doing there? Shouldn't she be an M2 camping?
Oh, you found my PI stash. Damn.
An M2?
No, an XZ tech.
All right, where is your PI stash actually, though? I need to know.
No, I don't. You don't need to know.
Tell me.
Oh. Don't frag on me. I literally just started yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, fair point. Then you can keep going for at least a week, but then we're gonna have to find you, and when we find you, we're going to kill you.
I have a topic we can talk about that I don't think anyone's brought up yet. It's kind of semi-important. Initiative today moved Dreads from 0 SHT across the regional into Catch proper.
Who?
Initiative. And I know you forgot about them in Fountain, but
Yeah, fuck them. Who cares? So they moved Dreads in?
yeah, they moved Dreads
Dreads
into
weren't
Catch.
anchored, right?
I don't know. I just heard about it through the grapevine.
I heard that there was a Dread move up earlier today.
Yeah, there.
Along with
I
other
know.
capital.
Well, I know for a fact that they moved Dreads from 0 SH into UQ, into the fort in UQ they have.
I heard NC moved somewhere.
And what does that mean, Jeremy? So
That
moving
means
Dreads. What's
that
that mean
means
for
that
you? What's the topic?
that means that Initiative now has the ability to at least somewhat escalate when they're in Catch now against Brave and Co. And possibly even come down to Esoteria with Capitals to support Bastion.
Nah.
So do you think they will?
I think they're definitely escalating Catch, but I'm not sure about going down to East or anything like that.
Okay, well that's fair enough. I don't know what any of that means, and I am. Ooh, people are talking about it in the chat, but I'm out of steam right now, guys. I don't know what else to talk about. We talked about all the M2 stuff. We got all that through, and I mean we're close enough to the end of the night that we can just go ahead and go through our final thoughts, and then hit hit an Eve streamer with a bunch of viewers if you guys are down.
Sounds good.
Billy gets to go first.
Billy's just gonna disconnect. He doesn't.
He's already gone. He's
Oh,
already gone.
He already
Damn it.
left. Like, jeez. Ugh. Yeah, so I'll tell you what we'll do. The New Eden Post will be on the scene trying to figure out exactly what's happening with those internet spaceships that are moving. And once we find out, we'll let you know. So let's go top to bottom. You guys can organize yourself as far as the final thoughts can go. Make sure you guys stick around so that we can properly raid these lovely individuals. But before we do final thoughts, basically just want to make sure everybody knows, because we upload these things to the YouTubes and also to a podcast format every week. And if you guys are listening from either of those things, this is where the show is going to end for you. I hope you've enjoyed listening. Make sure that if you have time, you watch live Tuesdays at 0200 Eve on twitch.tv/New Eden Post.